Welcome to The Clever Angle, the podcast where you get job shadowing experience without the job shadowing. Today, I sit down with Grant Long, a YouTuber who's going to give us a behind the scenes look of what it's like to be a content creator during the coronavirus. So, let's jump into the show. Guys, welcome to a special episode of The Clever Angle. We're bringing you some bonus content. We're bringing you an extra episode this week. If you're listening to this, it's Friday morning and you're headed on into the weekend. So I decided to go ahead and drop you with an extra episode. And I got my boy Grant Long, YouTuber, podcaster, streamer. Grant, what's going on, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. How about yourself, brother?
Man, I'm doing great, man. We've both come a long way since the last time we sat down for an interview. For those of you who don't know, me and Grant was actually going to be my first interview for my podcast back when I was getting started. That cut of the episode never made it to it, but I might release it on Patreon if I want to get laughed at about how horrible the quality of that was. But, you know, you live and you learn, and you just get better, you grow, and you adapt. You know what I'm saying? You're either green and growing, or you're brown and dying, and we're definitely green and growing.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So, dude, how have you been, man? How have you been through this whole coronavirus, and how has that been affecting you?
Man, I've been blessed, man. The way I look at it is, you know, something horrible has happened to the world, and I feel bad for everybody who's lost loved ones or anything like that. But speaking for myself, I've just kind of looked at the positives. And the positives is, you know, I have a house, I have a roof, I have my loving girlfriend, I got my good dog, my two dogs. So I'm doing great, and I'm just taking this time to learn and to perfect my craft and what I got going on, and trying to stay busy. So when all this is over and we get back to going, you know, I'm coming out stronger than when I went in.
Yeah, man. So first question I kind of have for you, did you ever think that you were going to be able to utilize the power of the internet to create content that was going to bring value to people and, you know, monetize that and make money?
I'll say I didn't think that I would be able to make money with it, but, you know, during our times is, you know, me and you growing up, me, you, Tevin, and May, Jalen, I always felt like I deserved my own TV show. I always felt like I should be on TV or something like that. You know, it's just something that I always thought. Now, I always thought that maybe I would get on a reality show. I always wanted to be on the World War.
I was about to say, what reality show would you be on?
I would be on The Challenge.
Okay.
I can't swim, so I'd probably lose in the first week because I can't swim. But I would definitely want to be on The Challenge because I love the World War or the challenge that they got on MTV.
Yeah. So are you taking out Johnny Bananas or what? Mano y mano, you taking them out?
I'm going for the top dog the first time. It ain't no throwing in the rookies. I'm going at the top dog, and once you get the top dog, you get the respect. You know, if anybody who watches The Challenge, just know I would have like 2 red skulls right now.
Yeah. So, man, just back to the internet. It's come a long way. So, like, coming from the 90s, from dial-up, you know, I remember, you know, sitting in my living room on the desktop computer playing Spider Solitaire and playing Solitaire. And TV was a lot simpler back then. You know, you couldn't look up the spoilers for shows, and you were truly excited about whatever was coming on TV. And I know this is a show that was like near and dear to your heart and my heart, and that's Dragon Ball Z. So I want to talk about Dragon Ball Z here for a little bit, and, you know, we'll kind of incorporate how that Vegeta spirit still lives on in you today. So, favorite Dragon Ball Z scene?
What's my favorite Dragon Ball Z? What?
Scene.
It's got to be when Vegeta finally went Super Saiyan, when he talked about how he worked so hard chasing something, and then when he just let it go and stopped forcing it, it just happened. And I think that happens a lot in life. You know, sometimes we try to force something, but when you just let it go, that's when you can reach your highest potential. And that's what Vegeta did. That's when he got Super Saiyan. He came, he destroyed the android. I was hyped up. I was excited.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, bro, there was no spoilers back then. You didn't know who Trunks
No,
was. You went home
bro,
every day.
we'd have to, bro, we'd run home from school. We'll get there. We're getting ready to see a new episode, and bam, it is started all over.
Yeah, reruns.
Right. It's reruns for a whole another 3 months.
And
We ain't know nothing.
yeah, didn't know when it was coming back on. That's the crazy part. That's how much it has changed. 'Cause now you can go to YouTube and you can look up any Dragon Ball Z scene, any fight, instantaneously, and it just wasn't the case back then. So, one more Dragon Ball Z question: how do you think that having that Vegeta style personality has helped you succeed in podcasting? I mean, not podcasting, well, podcasting and YouTube.
Honestly, man, I didn't know it until like later on in life. But when I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, I'm like, man, Dragon Ball Z taught you a lot. If you're a Saiyan, the only way you get stronger is you go through tough battles. You go through when you go through those tough battles and you survive, the next battle you're 2 times, 3 times stronger. And when I look back through my life, I've went through some tough times, but I've come out stronger. Sometimes it's bad luck, sometimes it's just on me, but I always get stronger after every battle. You train hard, you work out. And so I think Dragon Ball Z's had a huge impact on my life just in kind of like Vegeta. That's my favorite character. Goku was somebody that he's always chasing. He would do anything to catch Goku. And I think I don't have a person that I'm chasing, but I look at Goku as greatness, and I'm chasing greatness. I'm chasing everything that I think I can do in life. And, I probably sound crazy to people that don't know about Dragon Ball Z, but that's the way I look at it, man. And I think that when I look back on it, it had a huge impact on my life, for real.
Yeah, yeah. And I knew I wanted to talk about that with you because, like I said, some of my favorite YouTube videos to watch are old Dragon Ball Z scenes. So if you're still rocking with us 7 minutes into the podcast, then I appreciate you. We had to get that out of the way. We're old friends, and we had to catch up, and the only way we know how, and that's Dragon Ball Z references. So go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, or channels, I might say.
Okay. Before I get into that, I wanted to make sure I get this on this podcast. But Kevin, and we're talking about social media and how we use social media. You use social media. Everybody uses it, especially now that we're in this content creation lifestyle. Do you remember who was the person who set up my first Facebook?
The first person who set up your first Facebook? I don't.
It was you.
It was.
It was you.
It was me, was it?
Yeah, you set up my very first. I was thinking about that the other day when I was just thinking about how Facebook even got started in my life, and I was like, Tevin started my first Facebook.
Dude, now it's crazy because like when you saying that sparks the memory in my brain, and now I remember that. When did you start making like your first videos?
So me and my girlfriend, she got a job at ArcBest. Shout out to Michelle, I love you. So I was a personal trainer, and and we were in Conway, Arkansas that time, and she got a job in Fort Smith, and I said, hey, okay, I'm down to move. If you're down to move, she said, okay. So we decided to pick up and move to Fort Smith. When I got to Fort Smith, I had a decision to make. Do I want to continue personal training, or do I want to do another avenue? Well, before I left that month in Conway, I had started creating workout videos for my personal training business. I was putting them on YouTube. When I got to Fort Smith, I said, I'm going to go all in on sports and see if this could work for me. And a year and a half later, I have about 4 YouTube channels, and 3 of them are monetized right now.
Yeah, so let's just talk about branding for a second, because this is really interesting, and I want everyone to hear this. Where did the No More Defeats and the NMD TV and all that stuff, where did that start?
So No More Defeats, NMD stands for No More Defeats, and it's basically a motto that I go by that the way I look at it, it changed my life. There was a point in college where all I did was party, all I did was go out. And that stuff was dope, and, I still like to have fun. But I remember one day realizing, like, what other hobbies do you have, Grant? And it was kind of like me auditing my life and where I was in life. So I said I wanted to change. I wanted to start to do things different. I started to listen to people like Eric Thomas, Gary Vee. This was not Gary Vee yet, but definitely Eric Thomas and Les Brown. And then I said, okay, I need a motto that, I'm going to slip up. I'm going to make mistakes, but I want to change my life, but I need a motto. And I came up with no more defeat. And to me, that means no more defeat means you either win or you learn. Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to give 110%. And if I get what I want out of it, then, hey, I got the win. Let's keep on grinding and let's win some more. If I fail at it, what people look at it as failure, I'll look at it as a lesson and I'll learn from it. So no more defeats. You either win or you learn. And I took NMD TV when I went to personal training. That was my personal training was no more defeats training. And then once I got into YouTube, NMD TV Sports, and really just most people, they know me from No More Defeats. And that's something that anytime I feel like I'm getting lazy or I'm starting to do things that doesn't benefit my future, I try to remember no more defeats. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, so we talked about when you were creating your first videos, but what did it look like when you decided to go all in on sports? And what was your first YouTube channel that you decided to make?
My first YouTube channel, when starting with sports, was NMD TV. It wasn't sports yet, but one day the Baltimore Ravens games was on, and I was like, man, I want to go live. I want to tell people what's going on. So I go live on YouTube, not knowing how to do it, not knowing anything about it. And my girlfriend, she's like running around the apartment, and I don't have any microphone. I have nothing fancy. I'm just like, Robert Griffin scores a touchdown. Because Robert Griffin was in for the Ravens at the time. The pass goes deep. And this was a game that wasn't on national television. I had it on my laptop. And all of a sudden, like 400 or 500 people started coming in. They were like, show the game. And I was like,
serious?
I can't show the game.
You had like 400 or 500 people? And this is your first attempt at doing this?
This is my first time going live.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This is my first time going live. And I was like, this is crazy. So after that, I got like 100 subscribers on that channel. And I was like, man, I should go in on sports. I was like, man, this is going to be easy. So then the next week I went live for the Clemson game. Didn't get anybody. Got like one person. Went live again. Got like 2 people. And then I realized that it's going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. But I love doing it so much, I said I'm going to keep grinding and see what happens.
Yeah, so what do you think the biggest difference was from that first time when you got that initial quick win to the next two times when you didn't do as well? Like, what do you think the difference was?
The difference was, and this I know this from doing YouTube now. The thing with sports is if sports fans can't see a football game. So I was watching the Ravens play somebody. It wasn't a national televised game. I was looking it up on the website and I was commentating it. So people were searching because YouTube is a search engine. That's what a lot of people don't realize. YouTube is a search engine. So people are searching Ravens versus so-and-so. Is anybody got this game streaming? And that's why a lot of people came into that live stream because they found me through searching. The next week when I tried to do Clemson versus Notre Dame, that game was on ESPN. Everybody was already watching it on TV, so nobody needed to go to YouTube to watch it.
I got you.
So it took me a while to realize, like, that's why I haven't been getting a lot of people, because the reason they came in the first time was because that Ravens game wasn't on TV.
Yeah, so do you still go live, or are you strategic about when you go live?
So right now I'm not going live. Obviously, we don't have any sports, but I do go live during college football games. This past year I did all college football, but now I'm transitioning to doing all major sports, all major topics, and I'll be what I'm going to do, my plan is to get the NBA package And if the NBA comes back, I'll live stream some NBA games, just giving my reaction to that. That's my plan for this upcoming. But since there's no sports right now, I don't go live. I do put out 2 or 3 videos a day on different topics, but I really don't go live a lot right now.
Oh, so I didn't even know this. So you're going to transition into doing basketball as well? Are you going to do baseball, or are you just going to stick with the major 2, football and basketball?
I'll do college football, NFL, and NBA. Those would be the 3 sports that I do. And but I'll talk about I won't talk about baseball because I don't know anything about baseball. But let's say that something happens at ESPN that just has to do with ESPN, but it's a sports story. I'll talk about it. It just depends on if it's a big topic or not.
Yeah. So,
but the only thing that I'll be live streaming will be live games that I can commentate, talk to people in the chat, tell people my thoughts on it, and things like that.
Yeah. So just take me through the process of picking the topics every day. So you said you're still uploading 2 to 3 times a day, even when there's no sports. How do you find your topics,
right,
and how do you keep the content flowing during this pandemic?
So right now I have a couple channels, like I've already mentioned. One is my NMD TV Canes. It's NMD TV Canes. That channel is dedicated to all Miami Hurricanes. I can talk about the Miami Hurricanes day in, day out. It doesn't take me any effort. I can just turn the mic and talk about the Miami Hurricanes. For my NMD TV Sports channel, which is my bigger channel, what I do is I kind of go to Twitter. I look at what's trending. I'll go to Google Trends. I'll see what's trending. And I'll see what people are searching for, because YouTube, I can't stress this enough for anybody who's interested into YouTube. YouTube is a search engine.
It's the second biggest search engine in the world, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you go to if you start a YouTube channel and you put Tevin Vlogs interviewing Grant Long, well, nobody's really searching for that. Most people, only our loved ones, are searching for that. But if I do a video on Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, that's going to get some views, because right now that's the big topic right now in sports, is the Michael Jordan documentary, and is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? If it's searchable, people will find you and people will find the content.
Yeah. So okay, so take me through. You just started. You took me through the story of when you went live for the first time. What did your first few videos look like on that channel, and how did you grow it to where it is now?
Man, it looked like poop. It looked like doo-doo, man. It was I did it on an iPhone. The audio was bad. The editing wasn't too bad for me just starting out, but when I look back at it, honestly, I'm glad I started that way. And the reason is I see how far I've come. You know, I see my transitions. I hear the clear audio. I hear me not saying and you know and but and as much as I used to. So I like to go back and look at those videos just to kind of, you know, especially, let's say I don't get a lot of subscribers one week. I like to go back and look at my old videos just to kind of remind me where I started and the improvement I've made. If anybody's starting off on YouTube, it's 2020. You need to get started today. Pick up that iPhone and start recording something, and you will gradually grow from that.
Yeah. So being in content creation myself, this is something that I've just wondering, and I want to ask you. You're the perfect person to ask this. What are some tips for having smooth transitions, keeping the conversation flowing, and not saying you know, and having those awkward pauses? I'm still figuring it out. I'm just wondering if you have some tips that you could share.
Yeah, so some of the things I've learned is, first, do your research. If you're talking about something that you know, you won't need to think that much about it. So that's going to keep you from saying and oh. And then a lot of time it's just pacing yourself. It's when you're creating a video or creating content, I think a lot of it, you got to tell the story, but pace. When I first started out, I was just Kyler Murray for the Oklahoma Sooners, and he's going to win it. You know, I had the passion, and I just said, but I had the passion, but I wasn't doing my research as much. and then I wasn't pacing myself as much. I still make mistakes. I still say but it's just not as much. And I would say for anybody creating content, if you research everything, you're going to be confident. That's going to keep you from saying and like. And then if you pace yourself throughout the conversation, that'll help you out a lot as well.
How much research would you say that you're doing on these topics before you post them?
I do a lot. I try to read because I don't want to put out false information. That's something that I said from the jump. When I started my sports channel, I said I didn't want to be clickbait, and I wanted people to know that they could come to my channel and they could know what's going on, and then I could give my opinion. So I always state the fact, and then I give my opinion. But I try to read, if something happens, I try to read 3 or 4 or 5 articles, because if you're in a group chat with me, nowadays there's fake accounts, there's fake Sports Center accounts. They'll trick you. So what I do is when I hear about something, I usually read 3 or 4 articles, and then I kind of tell the story in my head and I say it out loud, and then I start writing, then I start recording, then I start editing, then I start putting the pictures to it, and then I upload that bad boy.
Yeah. So you said that 3 of your 4 channels are monetized. Take us through the process of what it took to get monetized and what exactly are the requirements for having a monetized channel on YouTube.
So to have a monetized YouTube channel, you have to have over 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours. You got to have 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours. When you reach that, then you can apply for YouTube's partner program. You have to sign up with Google AdSense. They can put ads on your videos. You get money that way. And then there's also a nice feature that's called the Super Chat feature. And what a Super Chat is, let's say I'm live streaming the Baltimore Ravens game and I'm getting into it. Lamar Jackson just scored the touchdown. And then somebody goes, man, you're doing great. Here's $5. They can send $5 through the chat. And, YouTube gets their cut of it. And then that goes into my Google AdSense. That's how you get monetized through YouTube. There's other avenues you can create income, like Amazon Associate and Patreon and things like that you don't have any requirement with that most of the time. But just for YouTube, for you to make money on YouTube, through YouTube and through Google, 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours, you apply, and they usually get back to you within 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, so how long did it take you to get your first channel monetized?
My first channel, it took me about less than a year, I would say. And this is me uploading a video, posting a video on Facebook. And then I remember when I got to like 500-600 subscribers, I was so anxious to reach 1,000. Now, the watch hours are important. If people aren't watching your videos, then you can't get the watch hours. So you got to have a community that's engaging with the content. But once I reached 500, I was like, I'm ready to get to 1,000. So this is just something that I did. And if you're listening to this, you probably got this message. I messaged everybody on my Facebook. I said, hey, I started this YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can get it monetized. If you would just click this link and subscribe, it'll help me out a lot. And then that expedited the process.
Okay, so you obviously did that with your first channel. Did you do that with your second and third channel as well? Your other monetized channels?
So after I reached a certain point to where, I'm a small YouTuber compared to the big time YouTubers, but I do have a pretty good community to where on my bigger channel, I'll say, hey guys, I started this channel. If this is something you're interested in, click this link and go over there and subscribe. So it's easier to get subscribers because I've already built my following, and some people from the first channel go to the second channel. Some from the second channel go to the next channel. So,
yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about your community that you've built on your first sports channel. Take me through some of your growth strategies and how you've been able to attract more people, because I would assume that all of your subscribers didn't come from your Facebook, so you had to have organically started acquiring people to get on your channel. How did you go about doing that?
First thing is you got to be consistent. Um, just uploading and uploading and uploading. My method was this: I'm going to upload so much that I'm going to get good at this. So honestly, the quality at the beginning wasn't that great, but I kept uploading. I kept getting better. I kept learning. I kept uploading. And then another thing is you gotta. This is like the most generic thing, but people go to YouTube for personality. You know, you gotta be yourself. So I crack jokes. I talk about Drake. I'm a big Drake fan. I talk about Dragon Ball Z when I talk about sports. You gotta be yourself because that's what they go to YouTube for. Because I say stuff that people on ESPN probably won't say. If people just wanted to know what happened in sports, people wouldn't go to YouTube sports channels. They would just go to ESPN. So the biggest thing is everybody is special. Everybody is unique. If me and you we want to talk about LeBron versus Michael Jordan, and somebody says, okay, I'm gonna give y'all one day to put out a video. We're gonna put out that video, but our delivery, the way we look at things, our personality are going to be totally different. And I feel like there's some people who would like my personality, and there's some people who wouldn't. There's some people who would like your personality, and there's certain people who wouldn't. The way you build your community is being your authentic self, and I guarantee you there's some people out there who like the way that you act and like the way that you talk. I feel like people know when you're faking.
Yeah.
And if you try to fake it, I think that's kind of a turnoff to people. But when you just say, hey, this is my opinion, and you can back that opinion up, people love that. Even if they agree with you.
Yeah, so how do you combat?
I mean, even if they disagree with you.
Yeah. So how would you combat like imposter syndrome? Because that's something that I've been having to overcome. Like, this will be my sixth episode that I'll have going out, but there's still that doubt and that fear that creeps in. That like, man, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. How do you kind of combat that?
Well, one, I just keep uploading. And by that, if I just keep uploading, this is the way I look at it. If I keep doing it, I'm going to continue to get better. Back to my Dragon Ball Z reference. Every fight, they get stronger. Every video, every content, you're going to get stronger. Now, I'm not just saying throw out crap, but if you quit, you're not going to get anywhere. Kevin, if you say this podcast isn't going anywhere, I give it up. I can guarantee you this podcast is done for because you quit. But if you keep putting out episode after episode, I can say, hey, Tevin, one of these days, this thing going to blow up. And the percentage of it blowing up, there's at least 1%. But if you quit, there's no percent. So the way that I keep going is, one, it's basically a lot of my income now. So it's my job now. But another thing is I love doing this. So, I mean, there's sometimes like I just stopped my podcast. I was doing a podcast.
We're going to talk about that as soon as you finish. I was just about to talk about the Canes After Dark, but continue.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you ask the question. But there are times where you got to audit yourself and fill out things. But when it comes to you, if you know what you're doing is special to you and you like doing it, then you should keep doing it. And I think eventually something good is going to happen.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and talk about it then. Let's talk about your podcast. Let's talk about the Canes After Dark podcast. Why did you start it? Why did you stop it? And what did you learn from it?
So I have a YouTube channel, and my thing was I'm looking at the big guys. Like I'm looking at Gary Vee. I'm looking at everybody who has a podcast, and they have a YouTube channel and they have a podcast. So I go, man, I'm gonna start me a podcast too. And so I started me a podcast, and it actually was going pretty well, man. It was streamed in over 6 countries. I think it hit over 2,000 downloads. I had 3 former Miami Hurricanes. It was a Miami Hurricane-based podcast channel. It had three former players that came on. It was going good, and I did enjoy it, but I realized that I started to take shortcuts. And by that, I mean I would, my YouTube quality started to suffer because I do my editing, I do my writing, I do my uploading, I do my thumbnails, I do my social media, I do everything. And so when I added the podcast, I thought I could handle it, but after auditing the situation, I realized like, hey, YouTube, you're suffering a little bit because you're not putting the same amount of, you're cutting shortcuts because you're trying to interview this person here, edit this podcast here, do social media here. And I said, I got to go back to my roots, and that was YouTube. Maybe one day when I can get a co-host and I can trust somebody to do a podcast, I'll do that again. But I just really audited myself and said, something isn't right. And what wasn't right was me adding the podcast. I was juggling too much, and so I had to take that L. But as I said earlier, you either win or you learn. And what I learned is, don't cut corners on your content to put out separate entities of content. And by that I mean, yes, I do think you should put out a lot of content, but the content, I think, should be quality. And when you feel like you're starting to purposely cutting the quality, like me, I was like, maybe I should take this part out. And I say, nah, let me just go ahead and put it out there. When you get to that point, that's when something's got to give. I don't mean, you make an honest mistake. I mean, deep down, you're cutting corners. You got to self-audit yourself and figure out what's going on. And when I self-audit myself, I realized that the podcast, I just had to give away something. And my YouTube, me being on camera, me doing the visuals, I like that more than the podcast. I like podcasting. Maybe I'll go back to it. But at this time, I had to go back on pause on that to do other things.
Yeah, podcaster to podcaster. How long was it taking you to edit and get up that content every week?
To do a podcast for me, I would have to figure out who I'm going to interview. Figure out a topic, figure out who I'm going to interview. It would be a full week to get everything done, to interview the person, to edit it, to format it how you want to put in the intro, to post it. It would take about a full week. So I was going week to week, and, I'm editing the podcast, and then something happens that I need to make a YouTube video on. And then so I go do the YouTube. But then I got the podcast coming out Friday. It became a conflict of interest, and I just had to look myself in the mirror and figure out what was going on. So it took me about a week to answer your question.
Yeah. And that's tough, man, because I really enjoyed listening to the podcast, and you were putting out quality content for sure. How long did you do it? How many episodes did you have before you decided to call it quits?
Man, I think I did it for 2 months, and I thought that was long enough to actually know if I could do it or not. I keep going back to it, but I had, the lesson I learned is I can't juggle it all.
Yeah.
So I had to give something up. And I think 2 months was enough time for me to realize, like, okay, I did give this a shot. And it is not like I'm just like giving up on something. YouTube is my baby, and I love YouTube. So I had to make sure that I was taking care of my true love, when you look at the content, and that was YouTube.
Yeah. And I think that's very important for people to know, that when you're getting started, especially in some of this content creation avenues, that it takes a lot to just be able to do one of these things. I'm like you. I'm just doing podcasting. eventually I would want to do some kind of video along with the podcasting. But right now, it's very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of precision. You want to put out a quality product. You got the show notes and hosting and all of that. So yeah, I mean that's very. I mean, it's enlightening to me to feel like that there's someone else out there that was doing it, and it's taking you just as long as it's taking me to put out quality product every single week. So, what about streaming? I've been seeing you on like the Facebook gaming. You've been making some videos about streaming. I'm really interested in Twitch and just gaming in general. I'm actually thinking about getting an Xbox. So, can you take me through the process of how you got started with that?
Oh man, yeah. I used to love playing Madden. I used to make people cry on Madden. I used to be.
I remember, bro. I remember random people's houses. You just go in, people spiking the controller because Grandin beat them by 50 in the first half.
There's been plenty of controllers broken, but at some point I stopped playing video games. I gave it up. Well, I realized I realized that gaming is during this quarantine time. I had a little bit of extra time, and I realized that, hey, some of my followers would like to see me play video games. So I said, okay, I'm going to try out Twitch. I'm going to try out Facebook. I'm definitely going to try YouTube. But I tried out Facebook, and I like it. So once I was looking at different avenues to put out more content, some of my followers said they would like for me to see me streaming. And I was like, man, I do miss streaming. I was wondering, if I go get this Xbox, am I going to play it? I got it. Man, I'm hyped up. I love streaming. I love people seeing my emotion during the game. And I think the biggest thing is I'm not as good as I used to be. I used to destroy people. Now I'm online, and people been giving me the work. I'm like, man. But because I'm not that good at it, that makes me want to play it more. That makes me want to learn more. That makes me want to be the best at Madden. So I'm on my comeback tour right now, and if anybody has me on Facebook, I do stream on Facebook. I'll be streaming on. I got my gaming channel on YouTube that I'm getting started as well. I'll be putting clips on the YouTube. I've already started that. So I'm just getting back into playing Madden, and I may play like 2K and Call of Duty. But right now, I'm putting out my other content. But man, I love the comeback, and I'm making a little comeback on Madden 20, and maybe I can, and that's another stream of income as well. So
yeah,
that helps out as well.
So who do you play with on Madden? Just curiosity.
My Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's what I thought until I jumped on your stream and you were playing with the Chiefs and you were getting destroyed. So I didn't know if you had been.
Okay. I was listen. I was getting destroyed, man, and I'm not happy about it. But I'll remember this podcast where I'll say I'm getting destroyed, and when I come back on in about 2 months down the line, I'll have like a 30-game winning streak. But so I've started streaming on Facebook. And I've already built me up a little community. And one of the guys who likes to watch me stream, his name is Nick. He's a Baltimore Ravens fan. And we were talking on the chat while I was streaming. He was like, man, I want to play you. So I was like, okay. I was like, I'll even let you be the Ravens. And I was the Chiefs. And he beat me down. I beat him in the second game, though. Tevin ain't going to tell y'all that, though.
No, I had to jump off the screen. I had to jump off the stream. I was like, no, he lost this game. It was already late, too. I had to get off there, bro. But when do you usually stream? Because I enjoyed watching you play.
So I've usually been streaming in the morning when I wake up or late at night. So I do like – the thing about streaming is people – like to watch you like either as soon as they wake up while they're getting their day going or late at night. So that works out perfectly for me because I can stream when I wake up and then I can get into my content creation throughout the day. And then if I want to stream again at night, I can. Or if I want to wake up, get straight into creating videos for YouTube, I can do that. And then I can stream at night.
Yeah. So this is something I've always wondered because I've thought about doing that. I've thought about, getting an Xbox or getting a PlayStation and streaming. How is it set up? How do you stream yourself? Like, How is it set up to where you're at the bottom and then they can see your game? I don't understand how that works.
There's like a ton of ways. You got to watch a lot of YouTube videos, but basically you can do it. Some people, they have a green screen in the background, but how I got it hooked up is I got a TV, I got a computer, and I got what's called a capture card. The TV and the computer are the TV, computer, and the Xbox are hooked up through what's called a capture card, and then I stream through a service called Streamlabs, and then that's kind of how I get my my Cash App, my YouTube symbol on there, and my face cam, and then that's what streams it to Facebook.
Yeah, see, I've never ever heard of that. I know a lot of people do streams like that, but I never knew
Yeah.
how you did. I was like, how do you do that? How am I looking at Grant live playing this game? So that's really really
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
it's something that I didn't know either. I thought you just buy the Xbox, and on Xbox you can go live, but that's not the case. You got to have the little capture card. Then you got to have a couple programs on your computer. I'm looking at if I keep getting the traction that I'm getting, which has been pretty good. I'm looking at maybe upgrading to a gaming PC, which would make things look a lot better, would make things run a little smooth. But right now, I'm gonna keep riding it out with my computer that I got now.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you would tell somebody that is looking to get into the content creation realm?
I would say start right now. I would say start right now because everybody has the power to. No matter what, whether you want to do a podcast, whether you want to do YouTube, whether you want to go live on Instagram, on Facebook, you can do all that right now with your phone. You can start right now if you want to, but most people they try to make excuses. But I think right now, especially while everybody's locked up in the house, start right now. That's the tough part is just starting. Because people say, well, I'll wait till I get my own office, or I'll wait till I get a professional mic, or I'll wait till I get a better computer. My attitude is if I start, I want to keep going, or I'll step out and realize it's not for me. But if I keep putting it off, I may just keep putting it off, and then we all know life happens. So that would be my biggest advice is just start right now. Do it right now. Don't second guess yourself.
Yeah. So, what do you see these channels looking like in a year from now?
So I got the NMD TV network going on, and how I see it going is me having several streams of income, me being a 100% full-time YouTuber, full-time streamer, and then me being able to hire somebody to run a couple of my channels from time to time, or me being able to hire somebody to edit videos. But right now I'm building a network, and that's my plan. So I got my major channel, I got my All Miami Hurricanes channel, I got my gaming channel, I got and I got my high school prospect channel. So right now I'm just trying to build and perfect my craft right now. And a year from now, I hope I have several streams of income, and I hope I'm still doing what I love. And I hope we get sports back because that'll help me out a lot.
So I'm reading a book right now, and it's called Superfans, and basically, it's a book by Pat Flynn. You know, you put me on Pat Flynn, and he's telling you how to attract casual listeners and turn them into superfans. So give me your best pitch right now of why I should listen to your YouTube videos on YouTube.
My best pitch would be, Kevin, if you love sports, if you love good content, if you love getting the sports immediately, fast, and entertaining, NMD TV is the place to go. NMD TV, No More Defeats TV, where all we do is win, never taking any losses. Shout out to all my bosses. Like and subscribe if you like to be a part of my family.
Yeah, that was good, man. So do you have any book recommendations that you would give out to anyone?
Man, I would say, if anybody's interested in some books, I would say look up Eric Thomas, The Road to Success, Corey Gregory. I think his was called The 10 Rules of Success or something. Look for Corey Gregory and Eric Thomas if you're looking for and Gary V, Jab Jab Right Hook. Those three are three people that I've actually read their books, but they're also on YouTube. Gary V right now, he every morning, while I'm getting ready to start my day, I'll listen to him. He's going live answering content creators' questions, and I've learned so much from it just from hearing real people ask him questions, and he's giving them all the game. Here's what it boils down to. Anybody can be a content creator. But the thing is, do they want to put in the work? Do they want to watch YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video to learn? And then do they want to take action? Because that's where the separation comes from, taking action. And I think that's why when you ask me my biggest advice, just get started. Because if you start right away, you won't overthink it and you won't outthink yourself. So I would definitely say anything with Eric Thomas, Gary V, or Corey Gregory, and you also can look up those guys on YouTube, give you some constant motivation. And not only motivation, they give you real life things to help you out through your journey.
Yeah, so just bringing it back full circle, we have Grant Long here of NMD TV. If you're interested in sports in any capacity, hit him up on YouTube. We're going to link all of his channels in the show notes below. And just start now, is some of his advice. You need 400 hours of watch time and 1,000 YouTube subscribers to get monetized on YouTube. Do you have any other tips or hints that you want to give to anyone before we wrap it up here, Grant?
Yeah, so it's 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, my bad.
And I do want to say this, because you asked a great question. You know, you said, how do you keep going? There's times where you're going to feel down. There's times where you're going to say, I'm not getting a lot of subscribers. I'm not getting this. I'm not going to do that, because we're built to look at numbers. But one, you got to keep grinding and you got to keep doing it. And two, I want to say this, and I want to make sure everybody knows that I am very lucky to have somebody in my life like Michelle Allen. That's the love of my life. And that's somebody who, from day one, she supported me. And it wasn't fake support; it was authentic support. So I did want to say that when you're putting out your content creation, it's going to help you tremendously if your partner in life truly believes in your goal. And there's times where I go to her and say, "Man, I don't know if this is working out," and she'll say, "I believe in you," and she'll tell me why she believes in me. Even if she don't know anything about YouTube, she does a great job at that. And I just want to give her a shout out to Michelle Allen, because you will need that partner during the tough times. And then the biggest thing is accept no more defeats. Either win or you learn. Start today.
And Grant, just thanks for sitting down with me, man. I know an hour of your time is very valuable, especially when you're in this kind of field. So I appreciate you sitting down with me, brother. Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans. Dragon Ball Z all day, and it was good talking to you, man.
Hey, you too, brother. I definitely appreciate it. And I just want to say, I know I'm keeping this going. I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
If you have a friend that's doing any kind of content, any type of creation, YouTube channel, podcast, if you just simply retweet some of their content, it means the world to them. So I want to say thank you, Tevin, because you've supported NMD TV. You even sent me some money through some Cash Apps, like, subscribe, and always help to share my vision. So I do want to say I appreciate you. And if you got a friend out there that's doing content creation, hit them with a retweet, hit them with a like, hit them with a share, hit them with a review on their podcast, because it really does. It to a content creator, that's like saying I love you. Like that means a lot to us.
Yeah, man, it goes a long way into keeping our vision going. And I just have noticed that I'm just a lot more generous with my time and my resources as I'm going out there, and you're putting something into the world that's going to be judged by, hopefully a lot of people. So it's scary. It's uncertain, but it's very rewarding. And if you have a creative outlet that you want to get out there into the world, like Grant said, just get started. Just do it. just just figure out the details as you go along. You know, there's YouTube videos for everything. There's people that you know that can help you along the way. And like you said, the love and support it just goes a long way. I mean, it means everything. So, like I said, Grant, thanks again. I really feel like this interview went a lot smoother than the first time, and I'm just gonna continue to grow and put out this content and be looking out for this content tomorrow, Grant. So, man, you have a good day,
Hey,
man.
man.
Tell Michelle and the dogs we said what's up, and once this pandemic is over with, we're gonna come up there and kick it with all our friends in Northwest Arkansas, man. So, thank you again, man.
Hey, thank you, brother.
All right, bro.